Hi, my name is David Hills and I am Senior Director at Ark Workplace Risk. We're working to develop a series of short, informative videos on the key elements of the New Building Safety Act, the New Building Safety Regime, and any associated legislation. In this video, I'll be focusing on the new requirements regarding the provision of relevant information to residents. Within a previous explainer video, we went through the requirements under the Fire Safety Act for those who are called responsible persons, such as managing agents, who under that Act are required to provide information to residents about evacuation arrangements and fire doors. Now, under the High Risk Buildings Keeping and Provision of Information, etc. England regulations, which stem from the Building Safety Act, the accountable persons, or principal accountable persons, such as the owner of the building, for example, not the managing agent, is now accountable for providing each person who is over the age of 16 certain information over and above the evacuation arrangements and fire doors. Now, historically, for many, understanding who lives within a building has been extremely difficult due to certain elements such as lease problems or other issues. The new regime, though, is looking to change the culture of the industry, and therefore, going forward, owners, accountable and principal accountable persons must now make every effort to gain an understanding of who lives within their buildings. It should be noted, though, that the law does take into account the fact that some may not have or be able to capture the required information. But as long as you can show that you have taken all reasonable steps to make yourself aware of who resides in the building or parts of the building to which you are responsible for, you are meeting your obligations. Now, as part of the resident engagement strategy process, the accountable and principal accountable persons must outline to residents what information they are going to make available to them and how they can gain access to it. So, taking into account the new regulations and the requirements for the resident engagement strategy, what is the information that you must now consider? Well, under the regulations, the principal and accountable persons must provide residents with information relating to the prevention and mitigation of building safety risks. And under the Act, that definition includes risks relating specifically to the spread of fire and structural failure. This information includes, as a minimum, a summary of the most up-to-date fire risk assessment, including the evaluation of risks to residents, as well as a summary of the safety case report, which should include a description of the overall assessment of risk, what steps have been taken or are being planned to manage any identified building safety risk, and an evaluation of how effective the measures undertaken or being planned are. Under the law, accountable persons must also provide residents with information as how the resident and owners of the residential units can prevent building safety risks materialising and or reduce the severity of any incident resulting from such risks. Basically, giving them guidance on how to keep themselves safe, etc. You must also provide information as to how and to whom a resident or an owner can report a building safety risk, as well as information relating to their duties to not tamper with equipment. Finally, information also has to be provided in respect of fire escape routes and specialist fire safety equipment. Now, the accountable person must also provide residents and owners with other information, such as information relating to the roles and responsibilities and duties of all of the various people who have an interest in that building. such as the accountable person, the principal accountable persons, any other owners, as well as managing agents. Finally, residents and owners should also receive a copy of the most up-to-date version of the residents' engagement strategy, including details of the complaints procedure and the systems used to make a complaint. In addition, you must provide a list of the documents that residents and others can request from the accountable and principal accountable person and how these can be obtained. Residents should also receive, normally within the engagement strategy, details of how and the circumstances in which they can make a complaint to the regulator directly. So, what if we get this wrong? Well, overly long delays in providing information to residents could result in complaints being made directly to the regulator, who in turn will question you. They will question your commitment to effective resident engagement, and this all takes time and costs money. The regulator may also question how effective your management systems are. But getting this wrong will also affect your reputation, such as the ability to attract leaseholders themselves. Our tip will be that you engage the support that you need and ensure that you have in place all of the arrangements to make all of the required information open to residents and give it to them on a regular basis. This is not a once-only process. This will have to be repeated as information changes, such as when assessments are undertaken or as and when your safety case reports are amended due to perhaps changes in the building or a mandatory occurrence having been in place. Thank you for listening. If you'd like more information or see how Ark's Building Safety Assurance Service makes it easier to manage risk, compliance and safety at your building, then you can contact us using the details provided.